Will you live in Moscow or move to the countryside? Living in nature is good, but big cities teach you to live in yourself. When you get to the village from them, it is sometimes difficult to get used to them. People get bored because they need to have fun. To do this, they need devices that will do it for them. People will think they are doing it themselves. Then people become lazy and afraid to go anywhere. It becomes difficult for them to do this. For now I stay in the city. There are many sources of information that I do not have in nature. But this does not mean that they are the main ones. Tell me what makes you happy, what do you laugh at when you have fun? My class teacher makes me laugh when she swears at us. She's actually kind, and we all know it. But we are silent and sometimes we smile. And she thinks we're laughing at her. I also find it funny when mom and dad can't choose what bread to buy. I like any one they buy. I also laugh when the sun gets bright and there are tears in my eyes. And if there are guys laughing next to me, then I also do not lag behind them. There are many funny cases in life. Basically, when we joke with friends, or when we do things, and then we are scolded and forgiven. I know that my parents and grandmother love me and I smile at them. And so do friends. Why did you tell us about Saturn? Because technically the problem can't be solved except by your intention. Your thoughts can change space, time. By thinking now, you are helping to do things in the future. It's hard to understand, but it's true. There is a common planetary field. There is no time in it, so it is used by anyone in any space. What you are getting now could have started thinking a few hundred years ago. Are there currently physical theories that reflect the real picture of the world? Is the theory of physical vacuum created by our compatriot G.I. Shipov correct? You asked a very serious question for me. Further goes Elhfi translation, the world of vacuum is a constructor for all forms of space. At its core, a vacuum is a special state able to take any real form. Reality constructed in this way will always be subjective. Its clarity and reality cannot be the rule in understanding the world picture. All this will change. All things come from the conversion of the vacuum with the parameters of physics. But the parameters of physics do not exhaust the vacuum as such. Here you say the current value of percent from every possible maximum laid. Can the person himself change the maximum value, with the help of another person? What conditions change the percentage? This percentage is laid down at your birth and is what it is. You don't need to increase it beyond the limit, because you don't live for it. The percentage can only change within the range given to you from birth. The main condition for change is not only to use ready-made solutions, but also to create your own. If you don't think, your percentage will fall. Still, you need to remember that your thoughts should not interfere with others. If you do this, your efforts will be useless, because the effort of thought will be spent in useless struggle. You also don't need to depend on thought, then your soul will improve. Do indigo take into account the characteristic of the soul of a person? What do you mean by this concept? What changes the characterization of the soul? Characterization of the soul: a set of tasks and capabilities of a person. The soul is an indicator of development, the condition of a contact. Every soul has its place in life. The soul does not grow, it develops. These are different things. The soul is a part of the greater. Its state does not have to be complete. It is a projection of the non-existent. The soul is not completely independent. It is a part of. Actions change the characterization of the soul. These are the capabilities of a person that they choose at birth. The more opportunities, the stricter the assessment of the act. An act adds or decreases the strength of the soul. This is passed on to the greater. It lives that way. The soul lives the same way. From the greater, the soul receives questions and answers them in life. These are additional actions that the soul may or may not perform. It is difficult to choose, but you can. The right choice gives the soul and the greater a new understanding. New knowledge is always joy, understanding, and wisdom. This is being lived for it. Who makes sure that a person does not remember previous lives? This is not monitored. This is inherent in you. You give up your own memories because they will interfere with your life. Life and what you know are different. If you connect it, you can't live. If necessary, a small part of what you know becomes available to you. This is necessary when you have a serious action. People remember what they want to remember and don't remember what they don't want to remember. This desire is possessed only by a person and no one else. What role do curators play? What type of relationship would be correct? Curators help you understand what action you should do. The person chooses. Curators are not people. Their task is not to be curators, but only to be them periodically. Communication with the curator is built with respect. He is an adult for you. All his words are true. You must also tell the truth only. If you cheat, they will stop talking to you, and you will become lonely. The curator's words are not a signal for action, but an advice. Your conversation is on an equal footing. No one should be afraid of each other or fall to their knees. You can also be a curator. This is one of the choices in life. How the climate has changed over the past 16,000 years and what will it be like after the change? The science of geology has answered this question for you. I won't add anything new. There will be no significant changes during your life. I'm interested in your attitude to the church. Have you ever been there? If was, what emotions did you experience or feel? I've been to the church more than once. Churches are different. Some people like it, others don't. It depends on the priests and those who come there. According to this, churches shine in different ways. The same way people glow. That's why they go there. In a church that glows with a goldish or silvery light, it is always easy. There you are waited for, and there you are helped to make your light a little brighter. Then you have to do it yourself. Many simply support what they have received, and this can also be done. But it is better that your light should depend on you, and not on the church. Why do you think I'm not human? I'm an ordinary boy. The way I speak here, I don't speak anywhere else. If I say that I can talk to the others, I am unlikely to be understood, and it will be difficult for me to communicate. I don't want it, but I don't give up my opportunities. Each of us has different opportunities, but we live next to each other. What is the third eye? The third eye is the inner vision of a person. It is from birth. It can see not only strong light sources, but also weak, even very, ones. How can it be opened? You have to understand that a person is not one state that you are in. Tell us a little about what is more than love. Does it have something to do with what people call God? Why can't people once felt it live in peace? That is greater than love is not peace and space. It only observes them and takes care of them. We are all like children to him. Everyone needs to be fed, taught, and raised. We all know these three main concepts. This is transmitted to us every day. We love what we are given for free, although everything in the world is arranged quite the opposite, at least for people. For this, we are not asked for anything in return, and this means that they do not need our love. They only observe it, because they know how to create it. I can't tell you any more, because I can't express it. I can only say that the love that comes to us there is very strong, and you can die earlier from it. When you feel it, you will immediately understand what you are doing in life. This love is distributed in our lives little by little. And we are a part of that love. We are from there. Maybe we should ask what he would like to tell us. I want to say that adults have become strange, absent-minded and hasty. My father forgets what he said yesterday, and my mother asks about everything 2 or 3 times. I also think that something has happened in adults. The faces I see are hurt, tired, or indifferent. Even our teacher began to check math assignments less, and before that it was very often. You will get even more tired. This is due to the place that the earth is approaching. This is the bottom of the hill, which will start another climb. At the bottom, everything will stop, but not really. Things will really change. Not everyone can climb the hill. This will also be real. Depends on what people call spirituality. Those who lead people will try to make them understand less. This is due to the way they teach at school and institute. They are helped by TV, radio, and computer games. Those who learn this will do what they learn. This will bring destruction. There will be a war on earth to live. People are preparing for this war. We will not participate in it. People kill each other for nothing. If they could talk a little better, it would be different. It's almost impossible now. If you stop trying to fight, try to begin to understand how the planets communicate in the solar system, what the sun is and what cluster it is part of. You are left with the knowledge to use. Getting knowledge is very simple. You have to make a simple and clear question. It should not concern money or personal good. Where do young souls come from? Young souls come from newly created birth capsules. They come from beyond the limit. Young souls are needed to support understanding what others are already doing. Young souls have equal rights with old ones, but these concepts are not accurate. Souls have no age, they have potential, knowledge that they receive. Everyone learns at a different rate. You don't always have to share to be born. Is it true that the emotions, feelings, experiences, and joy of people on planet Earth are all a source of food for the gods? With the improvement of human light vibrations, this source of energy from Earth to space also improves. In the world eat only those who look like people. The others change with each other. You can only change by passing a part of yourself and getting another part. Even people can do this, but they don't understand it well. Every person has the possibility of such a reception and return. When the creators were alone, they shared their part with the surrounding state and received a part, knowledge, in return. This exchange is the rule in the world where we live. Those who try to keep everything to themselves are doing the wrong thing, because they will soon burst. This is going to be real. There are no gods, and there never were. Gods were invented by people. Books that talk about the gods speak the thoughts of people who have seen similar to them, but more intelligent. What you're asking is like a computer. Only the monitor and keyboard constantly change places in the worlds of creators and humans. Is it true that the earth is only an experiment where settle, where suffer, rejoice, learn lessons? The earth is not an experiment completely. Only 1/3 is in the experiment, the rest part is living its life. There is no dimension. This is the ability of a person to see. Only a human eye can see dimensions. The vision of other creatures is made in a similar way. Everyone sees what they are given to see according to the conditions of their task. You wrote in the beginning that those who know what will happen will see a flash of light, it will be a signal. Why is this signal needed for if they are those who know? What can it really mean for them? Can this signal be the starting point? This signal is a reference point. From now on, processes on Earth will be managed. There is nothing that happens by itself. Planet Earth, Astro Start. The signal will not be a flash of light. Ordinary people will not see the signal, because they will not need it. Indigo, a small part of those who know, which is also a little. This is a part of the total population of the Earth 0.0008456%. Management of the planet takes place without the knowledge of its inhabitants. This has always happened and will always happen. If people understand this, they will no longer consider Earth their home. They have no other home. Space is hostile and indifferent with man. Do you see an aura? And how much do you see it? I have already spoken about the aura a little earlier. This is the light coming from a person. Everything in the world glows. Man is made up of light, but his eye is designed to see only the simplest forms of light as a body. If you see points of light, they are the brightest parts of other parts of human light. There are many sources that say that there will be a transition to another dimension and everything will be fine after that, and you promise us almost sun-scorched hell. So all the others are lying, and you're the only one telling the truth? What can you say about this? I don't promise anything. I'm only talking about what those who pass it on to you see. There are many options for events. Now it is becoming a strong option when serious changes will occur on Earth. The reason for this is that people stopped developing and began to destroy their world. To be a destroyer of your world without completing your task is stupid. Stupidity is not needed in the world. Where does Sasha get information for answering questions? What is its source? Who/what is it in his understanding? After all, any knowledge is subjective in any case, right? My sources are different every time. It depends on the questions you ask. I have an understanding of the sources. If I tell you about the transmission point, you won't understand, because you don't know everything. They are not living things. These are states of mind in the world. What matters is not the source, but how you talk to it. You will soon realize that a place in the world doesn't matter. Places are designated only by a person. The immediate fate of Mongolia in the future between the two countries of Russia and China. What can you say about Mongolia? Mongolia will be under the control of China. Why does living here often make me sad or even angry? From the inevitability perhaps? You are human and have emotions. It is a means of understanding the world where you live. Do you want to become? Here you will find the answers only by yourself. This is what you came to live for. What life was on Venus when it was gone, what/who was/were the reason for it. The reason Venus is uninhabited is its program of life. The same is true for Earth and other solid planets. The principle of evolution in the solar system is the transition from hardness to gas. Then there is a turnover of the substance. What's the point of I am? I am the Earth, the world in which you were born. What is clairvoyance? Ability to understand the world without translating the body's sense of touch. How do I contact my higher self? You are constantly connected to it. You need to learn to hear it. Start with truth and clarity. Still, Sasha, what do you think will happen to Saturn? Saturn will begin to approach the Sun. If this increases the radiation from the Sun, it turns out that the waves from each of them will meet, go back and again go to each other. This is the worst case scenario for you. Nature of the wave, Elhfi translation, E, exponent, equals, numerator, 123/17 in 10 degrees plus 11 integral, top 34, bottom 95 denominator, d square plus 5 in 7 degrees multiplied by k, where k is the speed of the proton wind. This will be the effect of a gravitational object. This object periodically appears in the solar system and is part of it. People's knowledge of the system where they live is incomplete. What are the rights of a person/people to Earth in terms of property, who gave them, if given, and on what terms? People don't have rights to Earth. The Earth is not their property. The concept of property cannot be applied here. Earth is a place for realizing the possibilities of states that identify with the form of state that is Earth. Man is a copy of Earth, though he doesn't know it. Recently I read the book of Drunvalo Melchizedek Flower of Life. At the end of the book there is a practice of creating Merkaba, something like a human body of light. How does a person need this from the indigo perspective, or is it nonsense? I know about this book and have seen it. But I only read a little. I know what I read. The body of light of man, this is his thin body. Each has a different size. The state of such a body depends on the person's spirituality and daily activities. Each of the people glows with a different light. Because of this, they can be quickly found and communicated. There are those whose lights go out. They will soon die. Tell me, is it possible to turn on the disabled 10 DNA helices and how to do it? The DNA helices didn't turn off. They can't be disabled, because it's a completely different memory than a human's. This piece of memory simply changes and adapts to what is happening on Earth. If people want to continue living on Earth, they will have to accept these changes. If they want to leave things the same, they won't live long. People have lost their faith. Without this, they will always ask for an explanation, but they will never believe. Those who do not believe have a hard time in the world. They are left alone and move very slowly because they are afraid to take the wrong step. When they find the right one, it is in the past, but people try to remember it for a long time. Because of this, they have to carry a whole cabinet with unnecessary knowledge. Does the current comet have anything to do with the flash? The comet had nothing to do with the flash. The sun is affected by a different state. It has always been associated with the solar system, but the knowledge about it is very stretched over time. In fairy tales and myths a little about this is told. Soon the sun will be sending out very much light from itself. People should be prepared for this. You said that it needs to learn how to use life currents. Could you tell us what they are, how to learn how to use them? Each person's life course is different, but there are only 7 of them, rarely 8. To use currents, you must first learn to see them, for example, in color. Their colors are the same as the rainbow has. Each color has its own power and can bring you both harm and health. When you take a color for yourself, you should take as much as you need, but not more. If you have a lot of color, you should share it, pass it to where it is missing, but not throw it away. Colors can be combined with each other, then you become more. You other also get a different color. Then you start being seen. How do you treat religion, prayers? Each prayer strengthens what is inside a person. This is a rule that should always be repeated, and that you should always know. Those who do not know these rules must understand the other well, or learn them. Without them, you can catch various diseases of the spirit and die. Such a death will be long and hard. Religion and prayer are not the same thing. There is no need to serve God, because He is inside each of the people. Serving yourself is stupid. Everyone just has to perform their duties honestly and not wait for someone else to do it for them. Each person has their own life program, life path. Can they change it throughout their life? A person cannot change the program of life. But there are different ways to reach your goal in life. Is it true that relatives are members of the same family of souls or fragments of the same entity? Those who live in the same family are not really one family. Almost everyone comes to the family from different places. But parents love all children because they came to live. The connection between mom, dad, and kids is the strongest. Then between brothers and sisters. Then the connection becomes weak. Mom and dad can understand their children without words, but when they grow up, they stop doing it, because children learn to tell about what is happening to them. What do the souls of the majority of spirits incarnated on earth have to do with these owners? Or are they just guests here, like those who are watching the earth now? The living and the observing participate in the same life that connects them through their own. The task of observation is to find similar ones, the task of living is to accept similar ones or not to accept. If the tasks are not solved, then observation and life become meaningless and stop. Millions of children in Russia spend their free time sitting at computers, and not only children. On the one hand, this is due to the situation not calm in the cities, there are no conditions for spending time or there is no goal, no idea where to go. So give high and real idea now and at the moment. Let's say what I should do. Or just wait. The computer is based on the principle of human thinking. It does not give knowledge to a person. It only helps to get knowledge. Everyone, sitting at a computer, gets the knowledge they want. This can be done quickly by eliminating distances. There is still time that you do not notice. The internet is built on time. Time is its main feature. When you log into the internet, you log into time and start using it. Ask yourself, how do you do this? If time becomes like the internet, then the person will not be there, the mind will not stand. Children who play computer games for a long time take their time. It is given to them in life to fulfill their task. If you take too much time, the task becomes impossible. Then the goal is lost and the person can be controlled. You must understand what to do and teach it children. We don't control people. All ideas should be born by you, not by us. And you should determine what to do, but not wait for the command. If a strong light comes, only the earth will save you. Its depth is from 12 meters. What does this mean? Give us more details. You will be able to live only underground. On the surface, people will die quickly. What dimension are our angels and their helpers in? Dimension is not important to them. They do not belong to dimensions, they are curators of people. Does Mount Kailas and other ancient complexes help? How and with what? Mountain no, some other points yes. What is the point of being a huge number of alien minds in 4.5 dimensions on Earth? Earth does not belong only to people. You are not alone here, and you have never been alone. Everyone performs their task in the world they came to. So that you don't interfere with each other, you don't see each other. Can a person develop not only spiritually, but also develop the physical properties of his body? Yes, but then you will have to create new rules of life. Food and cars will stop holding people back. Those who control you don't want that. What is unique about the upcoming changes on Earth in the history of space? This is a normal change. Many pass it. If you were the creators, you wouldn't worry so much. It is unique only for the living, who came. Many have come only for this. What kind of experiment with the Earth is carried out by messengers of Sirius? This is not a distant from you civilization. Their actions are not clear to you and do not cause harm. They need results for their lives. There won't be much contact with Sirius. How justified is the use of the properties of pyramid structures in human life and in general, during the period of changes? Pyramids can transmit and receive signals. The antennas that people can make are very simple, the pyramids are different antennas. You can't turn them on the way people are used to doing it. Knowledge about inclusion is left behind and is located in different places, including on the pyramids themselves. Their signal is like a very, very long wave. Tell me, what technique of breathing exercises is more effective in human development? Reiki, Elhfi helped. Will buildings be destroyed, without taking into account flooded or washed away, in the process of change? Destruction never affects the new. Otherwise, it will be the opposite. What disasters on Earth can happen if the poles of the planet change their position uncontrollably? Can someone control, manage, the process of shifting the poles? People can't control the Earth's poles. Remember that you are not alone on Earth. Your task is not to harm nature, not to offend its inhabitants. What minerals can collect light and not act as magnets? Aluminum, quartz.